Hi guys, it's good to be back with you again, and this is the third in my series on the chakra system in the human body and the system. When I say the human body, I don't just mean the physical body, I also mean the other bodies that we understand in the other dimensions of our existence as well, like the astral body and the energy body and things like that. So the chakra system affects all of those simultaneously. So this time we are moving up to the second chakra, which is found in the belly, the lower abdomen, and that is known as the sacral chakra, or in Sanskrit it's Swadhisthana or Swadhisthana, which basically means the seat of life. And this region obviously encompasses all of those areas of the body that are in the lower part of the abdomen. So the bowels partly, the bladder, the sexual organs, so male, female reproductive systems are all found in there. And this area is very much synonymous with the colour orange. So you'll see the orange colour used with the sacral chakra, and also with the element of water. So if we look, when we looked last week at the root chakra, the element there was earth. So we're moving up to the second chakra now. So we're looking at the element water, and water is very important in this. Water, we know, makes up a great big huge proportion, about 70% of the human body anyway. And water is a key element with this particular chakra. And the goddess that is synonymous with this particular chakra, the Swadhisthana sacral chakra, is the goddess Rakini, who is one of those kind of incarnations or types of Shakti herself. So as the river that we spoke about flows up, at this point we get this character Rakini come in. Now, if the root chakra was synonymous with survival, making our basic needs met, things like that, I like to sort of think the character, you could have a character, somebody like Bear Grylls, who's kind of out there, you know, just in his survival mode, out there living in his tent somewhere, trying to escape, trying to survive the wilderness and the animals and the weather, nature, everything else like that. So as we come up to this next one, we've got Rakini, this character, and in my head I get this character of like this kind of party girl, exciting, exuberant, you know, a bit fierce as well, a bit like a bit of a sort of a Miley Cyrus, Lady Gaga type of character, I suppose, you know, though that's my imagination going a bit crazy. So we're talking about a lot of energy here and a lot of emotion, because energy and emotion are key. So we've moved beyond the phase of just getting our basic needs met. We're now moving up to the point where we want to start to enjoy life. We want to start to enjoy everything about life, pleasures, desires, passions, sensuality, all that sort of thing. In the Hindu tradition, it's very much, sex is a big part about this, but it's not just sort of the physical act of procreation. That's more like your survival instinct, almost, that survival phase down at the root chakra of, like, you know, we want to reproduce to continue on the species kind of idea. This is more like the pleasure, the sensual side of things like that. So if you can just imagine that energy, it's not just all about sex, it's about that, the energy. It's all the idea in the yoga tradition is almost that sort of sexual potent energy can be harnessed not just for sex, but for all sorts of other creative means in life. And this is what the sacral chakra is all about. It's about pleasure, it's about enjoyment, but it's about pushing that into the creative realm, creating and getting that desire for whatever it is that you are drawn to. So it could be a creative thing, it could be something like painting, sculpture, it could be cookery, it could be gardening, it could be dance, it could be music. It's so many things, but it's very much that artistic, that creative sort of element. It might not be artistic, it could be something like, creating websites, or something on the internet. Could be making podcasts. It's that sort of, it's channeling that energy and that passion into the thing, or the things that actually fire you up, turn you on, if you like, get you fired up in life. So whatever it is that sort of excites you, that you're passionate for, we have the expression, having fire in the belly, and it's very much the essence of, I want you to kind of understand what this chakra is about. So it's that kind of deep down, emotional, passionate, going towards the desires type of passion. So we've moved on from the root chakra, which is basically just survival mode, getting those needs met. So now we're in an area where pleasure, fun, enjoyment all come in. So we've evolved a little bit up that sort of 7 chakras. We're on to the second one. We've evolved a little bit from just getting our basic needs met. Now we want to enjoy life. We want to have some pleasure. We want to have some excitement. We want to have some fun. That's what this chakra is basically all about. So yeah, the river that we talked about, that river of Shakti energy flowing up the central meridian of the body, is now got to that point where it's flowing fast, it's flowing strong. We talked about the fact that the chakras can get blocked. We saw that they're like a spinning vortex of power, which is sucking in right up from the root, and it's at each point it's churning and it's generating more energy, and it's putting energy into our system. So obviously we can get blockages, and we can get a lack of energy flowing in these areas. So if there's a blockage, we can see things in a person, in their demeanor, like they're just going through the motions of life. They're not enjoying life. Everything is kind of just like a routine that they're going through. They're just going through the motions of everything. They're not actually enjoying their life anymore. If you feel like that, or if you have felt like that, then the chances are that there is a problem, there is a blockage in the root chakra. What you should be is, you should be enjoying life to its full. Every one of the chakras is about balance, and none more so than the sacral chakra. So if the energy is low here, it can manifest in ways like we can be sort of staid, dry, emotionless. We may not be able to express our emotions. Sometimes that could be because of past experiences. It could have been from things in our childhood. The yogic tradition acknowledges things that even before our birth, the way that our mothers were, because again, we're looking at this sort of this pelvic bowl, the womb. This is where the creation of life begins, and it's in this area that chakra starts to form in us. So we're actually even as babies in the womb before we're born, we're actually able to absorb some of that energy from our mothers. So if there were problems there, with maybe lack of attachment, or struggles in the pregnancy, things like that, then those kind of things can manifest, as well as obviously things from our childhood growing up as well. All of these things can affect the flow of energy through the sacral chakra. for instance, you know, it could be a case that as children we may have been told, you can't do that, you're not good enough, you know, don't even try to do that because you don't have the talent, the ability, whatever. You know, some children are told, you know, they have a lack of self-image because, or a low self-image because they were told as children that they wouldn't amount to anything. They weren't very clever, they weren't very good looking or whatever. It's, you know, this is the negative side, and these things are evident when they, you know, lead to that blockage of energy, the slowing down of energy at the sacral chakra. The other side of it is the energy can be flowing too fast. Yes, it can actually flow too fast through the chakras. And if the energy flows too fast and there's too much energy going through, then that can also cause problems. As I said, it's about a balance of energy. So too much energy can lead to things, obvious things like addiction. That's a biggie. It can be anything. It could be alcohol, it could be drugs, it could be food, eating too much food. The other side of the coin of lack of energy could lead to things like eating disorders like anorexia, bulimia, things like that. So that's the low energy side. But the hyper energy in there can lead to things like overeating, overindulging in sugar, coffee, you know, sex, pornography. All of these things, they can all come from too much energy going through there, and they can all be a sign that there is an imbalance in this particular chakra. So obviously there are things that we can do to rebalance that, to unblock the chakra or to redress the balance of energy. Meditation obviously is a big one. I'm going to say obviously, it's obvious to me as a meditation teacher and as somebody who meditates every day that can make a difference, because meditation has basically been developed over thousands of years with the whole chakra system, the whole system in mind, because it's beneficial in every area. But there are a whole host of things that we can do to complement the meditation process as well. Simple ones like particular mudras, which are hand positions. So these are useful to use in meditation or in chanting, if that's what we're going to do. So I'll show you one of the main ones is the Shakti mudra. So what we do is, if we hold our palms like this, we put the tips of the little fingers and the ring fingers together. We then bend in the middle finger and index finger, and then we tuck in the thumbs like this. Sorry, I'm not doing it quite right. What we do is we bend them in like that. We don't interlace them, sorry. We bend the ring finger and middle finger in, and we touch the nails together like that. So we're holding the little finger and the ring finger together like that. We're touching the middle finger and the index finger together, and we're tucking in the thumbs like that. That's the Shakti mudra. And what we do when we sit, you can't see my legs at the moment, but so if we sort of point that downwards like that, if you can imagine, that's like the shape there of sort of our lower abdomen, that sort of triangle shape going down there. So we point that down into our lap, resting our hands in our lap, like so. That's the one particular one. If you find that difficult, then it's quite acceptable and appropriate for this meditation with this particular chakra to energize that, to use the cosmic mudra, which again is right hand palm upwards in the lap, left hand palm upwards on top, and the tips of the thumbs together. also known as Dhyana Mudra. So that's a good one as well. And these are to help with the flow of energy into the particular parts of the body, the particular chakras. The seed mantra for this one, seed or bij mantra in Sanskrit, it's a bij mantra, as shown on here on the symbol in the center of this is the symbol for the Swadhisthana chakra. You'll see a 6-petaled lotus with a number of different mantras around the outside. I won't go into them because it's a big topic, but the main seed mantra is, last time we had Lom for the root. This one is similar, it's Vam, Vam, and it's quite a sort of a low Vam sound, which you can feel that down in the lower abdomen. So when we meditate with this one, so we're adopting that one of those mudras with the hands. We're sitting obviously in the upright position, keeping the spine nice and straight, and as we chant the seed mantra, Vam, Vam, Vam. And as we do this, if we visualize the colour orange, the orange chakra, if we visualize that in the lower belly, about 2 to 3 inches below the navel is where we find it. And if we chant the seed mantra Vam, if we feel the vibration of that particular mantra, as I said before, it's not really that important the meaning of the mantra. What's important is more things like the vibration and the frequency of that sound that we make. So you can really sort of feel that if you just focus your attention to the lower belly when you chant, and visualizing at the same time that color orange and the sacral chakra, then you will get full effect. You can go round with the malas 108 times. Perfect, wonderful. If you don't need to do that. You can just repeat it however many times you wish to, and then for best effect then go on to a silent meditation after that. But it's a good way if you are sensing that you have any problems in this area, and physical symptoms of blockages and problems with the sacral chakra are problems with the digestive system, the bladder, the kidneys, the lower back, and anything to do with the reproductive system, either male or female. So it could be something like prostate problems, it could be problems with the uterus, the ovaries, anything in the reproductive area. And generally, if there are any of those problems physically for you, then it's certainly worth exploring and doing some of these exercises on the sacral chakra. Now, of course, these things can be caused through all sorts of things in our lives, as I said before, and I can tell you that I definitely know that there have been problems in my life, just as I may have shared with you before, the fact that I have been a chronic overthinker. Now, one of the symptoms is the fact that you overplan everything. The sort of problem that we get if there are problems at the sacral chakra are things like, even you go on holiday and you even plan out the itinerary, you plan out what you're going to do. You know, you're supposed to be on holiday. You're not supposed to be having a plan for everything. I'm happy to say that since meditating regularly, I'm no longer an overthinker in that way. I am able to actually go with the flow of life. And this is a big thing because, as I said before, the element of water is key to the sacral chakra. So what we're wanting to do is flow with life. We want to take a nice middle path down this Shakti river that we're navigating. We want to be travelling up the middle of it. So we don't want to be into the realms of excesses, as I said, addictions and things like that, or, you know, even just like hypersensitivity, being like overly sensitive to the words of others, you know, feeling that everything's personal against us and things like this, having those kind of emotions. Rage is another one. Anger problems very much show a blockage, or, you know, a lack of flow of energy at this point. An overflow of energy. I beg your pardon. I'm trying to tell you about the balance, and I'm kind of confusing myself there. But basically, yeah. So if there's too much energy going through, that's a problem. If there's not enough energy, then we have problems like, you know, lack of enthusiasm, not wanting to get out of bed, feeling too tired. Tiredness, overtiredness, chronic tiredness and fatigue are also classic symptoms of a lack of flow at the sacral chakra, or a blockage there. So if you're feeling tired all the time, if you're feeling lack of energy, lack of enthusiasm, that kind of thing, this is all from that as well. I mentioned sexual problems, you know, hypersexuality, people having all kinds of problems, promiscuity. You know, I'm not going to list all kinds of things here, but, you know, then the other side of it is the fact that there could be no interest at all. Lack of intimacy with your partner, lack of interest is another sign of a lack of energy there and a lack of flow. So those are all things. What else can I say? Yeah, we can look at things, also other things that physically affect this chakra. The colour orange, as I said. So foods that are orange, surprisingly enough, oranges, carrots, ginger is a good one to activate this chakra if there's a blockage. You know, probably sweet potatoes, things like that, pumpkins, a lot of these orange kind of foods, also orange juice, obviously, things like that, crystals, stones, things like amber, you know, I can't think of a lot of them, carnelian maybe, orange coloured stones will help to energize the vibration and raise the frequency at this particular chakra as well. So they could be good to invest in. So, but I think overall, if I could sum up the best way to energize this chakra, I would say have fun, enjoy yourself. This is the chakra that is about not being afraid to allow yourself to have fun, to enjoy things, to have pleasure. As I said, sensual pleasure, anything to do with the five senses that we enjoy is great. I mentioned water, great things to have a nice, long, indulgent, hot bath. You're getting into water, which is fantastic. Swimming is another thing if you're into swimming. But, you know, just having a nice bath, indulge your senses, enjoy that. Maybe put some nice essential oils into the bath water as well. Clary sage is one particular one that I'm told is a very good one for helping to awaken sacral chakra. I don't know how easy that is to get hold of, but you know what, just some nice oils. Again, if it's orange, put some nice orange bath oils in there if you can find some nice orange bubble bath. Maybe it's all about enjoyment, stimulation. Having a nice meal, your favorite food is good. You know, a lot of us, maybe we get a bit conscious about losing weight, stuff like that. Well, but we know that it's good to occasionally treat ourselves to something that we really like to eat. That's good. Again, the balance. It's always, you know, don't deprive yourself of it, but don't overindulge to the point of excesses. But enjoy what you enjoy. If you like to go to the gym, go to the gym. It's fantastic. Enjoy yourself. You know, if you like to play sports, games, whatever it is that you enjoy, go and enjoy it. Have some fun. And I think for some of us in our younger years, maybe, you know, in those kind of area, those times when we were very much influenced by our parents, our siblings or our peers, we felt that to indulge ourselves was somehow, it was not a good thing. You know, we had to be sensible. We shouldn't have too much fun. We shouldn't have too much enjoyment. You know, that's not what life's all about. We've got to get serious. And of course, we can go down that path and we can get too serious. The sacral chakra is all about enjoyment, pleasure in all of those different areas. Allow yourselves to enjoy the things that you enjoy. If you're passionate about them, get the Shakti energy flowing through these practices, through meditation, through following these things, and get yourself some more energy and direct that energy into the flow. Enjoy your lives. Okay. This has been about the sacral chakra, the Swadhisthana. If you've got any questions at all, please pop them down in the comments box underneath. If you enjoy this, please subscribe. If you liked it, maybe give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give us a thumbs down. Let me know. You know, be vocal. Tell me what you didn't like about it. I'm on a path of learning about life and everything myself as well. So I always value those things from you and interaction with you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next video. And until then, namaskaram.